Hello once again, good people. I hope you're doing well today. My name is Irene from Hairy Lifestyle. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Here at Hairy Lifestyle, we are all about making life simple, affordable, and healthy. Yes, so everything you'll find here will have to do with those three things. And if that's the kind of content that you like, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll be very happy to have you in my family. Yep, so I don't know if you got to watch my previous video. If you haven't, you can go and watch, I think, the last two videos. I showed you how I shop for my veggies and where I go shopping for my veggies. I also showed you how I store them and tips on how to make the most out of your market experience. We all know that vegetables have a very short shelf life. That was a mouthful. They can easily go bad on you. I can't tell you the number of times I've gone to the market, bought very nice vegetables, thrown them in my fridge, forgotten all about them, and before you know it, they are all spoiled, and it's such a waste of money. So when you go to the market and buy your vegetables, you will need to either cook them. I find it easier to store cooked vegetables, or just process them quickly, work on them quickly so that your family can be able to enjoy them, so that you can be able to enjoy them. Here I have my cauliflower. I'd showed you buying it, processing it, washing it, and putting it in my fridge. But today I want to actually just process it some more and get it ready for a meal. I'm going to share with you that recipe much later. Cauliflower, this cauliflower was very nice. It hardly even had any spots. It was very fresh. But we all know that if you keep cauliflower for too long, it will develop those black spots and it will go bad very easily. It also develops a very funny sulfurish smell if you don't use it quickly. Today we are going to do exactly that. Cauliflower is also a very good vegetable. It's very versatile. There are many things that you can make with it, but if you don't cook it the right way, you will hate it and you won't enjoy it. And it reaches a point where you get tired of eating steamed cauliflower, steamed with let's say broccoli, so you want to try out new recipes. So today what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I make cauliflower rice. Now, cauliflower rice is something that a lot of people eat in the low-carb community because you can use it to replace rice. Now, let me be honest here. You cannot replace the smell and the taste of rice. You know that pure pishori rice that you can smell when your neighbor is making? You may not be probably able to replace that properly, kabisa. So I say this to let you know that it's a good way to make this vegetable. It can replace your rice. Of course, it may not taste the same, but we have to find a way to make it taste good. Because if you don't make it taste good, you're gonna hate it. So the first step about making cauliflower rice is mincing it. You can either choose to use a grater to do this. It's actually quite a lot of muscle work. If you want a small gym session for yourself, you can grate this. You can also cut it into small pieces. But for today's video, I'm going to use my food processor. So I'll just dump my cauliflower. It has already been washed. It's already been cleaned. So looks like I might have to do this in batches. Let's see how that goes, because this looks pretty full already. I'm going to reuse this paper for something else, so let me just set that aside. I have my cauliflower in my food processor, and I don't want it to become mushy, or I'm not trying to make it into a pulp, so I'll just pulse it. I just want it to break to small pieces that would mimic the size of rice grains. That's okay for the first batch. I'm going to go ahead and do the same to this other batch. and when it's all processed, I'll just place it on a tray, then we'll continue from there. So I've gone ahead and divided it. This is now going to go into storage. I'll use it the next time I want to make this dish. This goes into storage. That is the cauliflower rice that I have right now. It's well minced. It's in small chunks. Now the one thing you need to know about cauliflower, and for most vegetables, they have a lot of water content. And because you want to make it to have the texture of rice, you don't want it to be soggy, you don't want it to be wet, you have to let out the water. Some people will squeeze their cauliflower using a tea cloth so that they can squeeze out all the water. What I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to add some spices to this cauliflower. I'm just going to eyeball. I'm going to use just powdered ginger, a little bit. I'm just eyeballing. I love when cooking is an art and not a science, where I can just eyeball things and put things without having to measure. This is turmeric. I love the health properties of turmeric as well as the color it gives. And I have some paprika here, so I'm going to add some paprika to it as well. I want it to be colorful. I want it to look nice. I don't want it to be all white. And this is mustard powder. I love mustard powder. I think I put mustard powder in basically all my dishes, yeah. But I'm not going to add salt, because we do know that salt has a way of, pulling moisture out of anything you put in it. I'm going to stir that up and make sure that it mixes well. I don't know, in my mind, I think I'm going to throw away this chunk that I've just found. In my mind, I feel like if I spice it early, the spices will have time to penetrate into the cauliflower as I go to the next step, which for me is my little hidden secret that I want to share in this video. So first of all, I'm going to mix it all up, make sure it's well mixed. You can see the color, its color changing to that nice rich color that comes from the spices. Ooh, I like how it's looking already. I really do. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I've never seen anyone do this, so maybe I'm the first one on the internet to do this. I'm going to just let me put aside all my spices. I'm going just to take this tray that I have here, and I'm going to spoon all my cauliflower into that tray. I want it to be in a wide tray. In a wide tray, so that it can all be in a very small layer. I'll show you shortly what I'm talking about. I'm one of those people, when I'm cooking, I don't want to lose even the smallest bit of ingredients, so I will scoop until I make sure everything has come out. Then I'm going to spread this around nicely into one layer. You may think this is a lot of work, but this is something you can do easily early in the day, and then you're gone on your way. Then you can come and just continue later. It doesn't take so much time. That was not even long. So there we have it. That's my cauliflower rice. And now, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this under the sun. I usually like to sun dry some of my vegetables. If I feel a vegetable of mine is too wet and I want to deal with some of that moisture, I'll just put it under the sun. We're in Kenya. We've been blessed with a lot of sun. Sun drying is a thing. It's what has been used over very many generations to preserve food and to also, just process food without adding any chemicals or any additives. So this will go outside. I'll take it outside. I'll place it under the sun. I'll make sure I protect it so that nothing can get to it. And then I'll let it dry. And then once some of that moisture has evaporated, it's not a very hot day, but I think we will get some sun later on. Once some of that moisture has evaporated, it will be much easier to cook it without it just becoming soggy. If it doesn't evaporate too much, if the sun doesn't work, we'll still cook it. We'll just make sure we use a very hot pan to ensure that all the liquids evaporate and we are left with a fluffy, nice cauliflower rice. Now the next vegetable that I want to deal with today to cook it and show you how I cook it is okra. It's in same bags that I use. Okay. So here is all my okra. It's on the paper towels. I'm just patting it dry. I'm just gonna use my cutting board and cut it into small pieces. I'll show you how small. Just like one okra, I'll cut it into 4 pieces. That's about the size that I'm going to go for, and I'll lay them on this other tray. This okra that I got, the size is very big. I should have gone for small ones. Smaller ones tend to be easier to cook and tend to have less of that gooey texture. As I said before, all I did after I finished cutting up my okra, I just did the same thing as I did with the cauliflower rice. I added some spices, but I didn't add salt, and I took them outside to the sun to dry. I don't know if you can tell the difference. I've just picked them from outside, and that's how they look. They look nice and dry, so that will help for the okra not to have too much of the gooey feel, and for the cauliflower rice to be nice and fluffy with most of the liquid having evaporated. I've put just about a tablespoon of ghee onto my saucepan, and I've added a bit of onion into that. I'm just letting that cook a little until it's translucent. It's already smelling very nice. To that, I'm going to add my minced garlic. I also want my pan to get pretty hot. I'm going to now add my carrots and mishiri. All these vegetables are the vegetables that I got from the market, so if you watched that video, you know the vegetables we got. I want that to cook nicely, and for the mishiris and the carrots to start cooking through. It won't cook through all the way, but I want them to brown up really very well. Nicely. You can hear that sizzle. My vegetables are cooking well. The pan is hot nicely. I'm going to add red hoho, red bell pepper, and some of the sweet the chili pepper that I bought. It's not a very hot pepper, so we just give it some spiciness without really being very hot. Some little pink Himalayan salt. I like salt, so add to taste. Add what is enough for you. Basically, those are my stir fry vegetables, and I'm now going to add my minced cauliflower rice that was drying outside. It has a nice color because I've already put some spices onto it. I don't know if there's anyone who doesn't like losing anything when you're cooking, so I'm gonna try to get every piece in there. I don't think I'll need to add too much in terms of spices because I'd already added some. Now here is where you really need your heat to go up, because you don't want any liquid. You want all the liquid that you have in that cauliflower rice to completely evaporate. You need to keep stirring so that it doesn't burn, it doesn't shika your sufuria. That's about it. I'm done with my cauliflower rice. I'm going to plate it a bit later. So that's how it looks like. It's just about cooked. I need to taste to see if the seasoning is okay, and then I'll just turn off the fire. So now I'm on to cooking my okra. I have some melting, I don't know if you can see that. I have melted some more ghee. Of course, everything I'm using a clean sufuria and everything. I've melted some ghee into my saucepan. I hope you can see that well. I'm adding some onions to my hot pan. I'm going to allow the onion to cook for a few minutes. I'm now going to put my garlic. I don't mind my garlic. I don't usually bother to crush my garlic. I just slice it lightly. Once it cooks, it's no different. I love the smell of ghee. Some people can't stand it, but I really just love it. I always choose some healthy oil to cook. I don't like using too much processed oil, so I prefer to stick to ghee, sometimes butter, or I use fat that I've rendered or has remained from me cooking some meat. That's what I usually use. I'm now going to add some tomato paste. Pretty much the tomato paste we made yesterday in the last video. I'm going to use a generous amount of it. I feel like the taste of okra goes very well with tomato, so I usually like to use a good amount of that. I'm going to let that cook down. Some more paprika. Some more ginger. My beloved mustard powder. And of course some turmeric. A good amount of pink Himalayan salt. Let the spices cook and release their flavors. The colors are looking good. Keep stirring, you don't want anything to burn. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. And allow that water to cook down. Remember, okra is also another vegetable that we want to keep dry. We don't want to introduce too much liquid to it. So I'll let that cook down a bit more. I'm now ready to add my okra. I wish you could see it. It's very dry, but it's also very tough. So I'm gonna have to give it some time for it to cook in this tomato base. All the seeds, everything. Okra is very good if you're trying to watch your blood sugar levels. Okra is a good vegetable to eat. When you eat it, it doesn't spike your blood sugar as much. If that's something you're concerned about, maybe you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, or you're just concerned that you don't want to eat foods that spike your insulin too much. I personally do keep a close eye on my insulin. A bit more salt. I don't know if you can see that properly. I wish you could smell it. And you know, that's about it. I'm not going to let it cook too much more. Again, some spring onions. I'm adding some spring onions as I put off the fire. You know, with vegetables, you don't want to overcook them. You want them to retain their color, and you want them to retain their nutrition. That is what I had for you today. I wanted to show you how I make my cauliflower rice, and I wanted to show you how I make my okra. I hope you learned something new. I hope you're going to try these recipes. This is my plate. I hope you can see it. The food is looking nice and delicious. I've put some okra, some cauliflower rice, and I have some beef that I made yesterday that I'm going to use it. These are my accompaniments and my protein. Let's give that a taste. I like that. I like the okra. It doesn't have that gooey taste at all. Not at all. You won't even feel it. And the meat is great. The cauliflower rice is awesome. It has a lot of vegetables along with it. All these vegetables, everything you're seeing here in terms of vegetables is what I bought in the market. And I'm just showing you how I use them. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll try this recipe. And let me know if you have any ideas, if you have any suggestions. Let's engage in the comment section. Watch my other previous videos and get to learn how I bought my veggies. Thank you. I'll see you in our next video. In my next video, this is Irene from Hairy Lifestyle. Kindly don't forget to subscribe. Bye.